Okay, there we go.
Just drop a
What's
few of
up,
them
everybody?
on
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. What's up?
Take a few. Donate them to the cause and just make them creative comments if you could.
They're actually everything's down there. Without paying for it.
I just don't want to violate the copyright, you know?
I know. That's why I took the picture. Is for to be used.
Okay. I'll just keep it on.
When I was looking at the website, I always respected copyright.
Give me a round of applause for all you motherfuckers for showing up today in the freezing fucking cold. I'm from California. I'm dying out here. I can't even feel it. Let's all be thankful it's not raining. Right?
Yeah, if you technically they're all
Not a mess. Yeah, it's not raining yet. Let's not jinx it. So, we are here today to force the vote.
Okay, cool. Y'all like it?
Yeah. We're here because corporate politicians are selling us out. They believe that healthcare companies should have more rights than average Americans, okay? We have 105 million Americans who are either uninsured or underinsured in this country. That's pushing a third of this country. We're 1/3, no health insurance. That's a travesty. We're in the middle of a pandemic. 15 million people have lost their health insurance since the start of this pandemic, and it's kind of hard to keep up. I'm sure that number has skyrocketed since, because that's a stat from like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I can only imagine what it is now, okay? 500,000 Americans file for medical bankruptcies every year. That's why we're here today. So when we're marching, we're going to be marching around the Rayburn building over there, coming all the way across and through, all the way back across the street over to the front of Longworth, and we'll be doing marches or chants and stuff like that. I want you to be screaming as loud as you fucking can, because we got to make sure.
Oh, don't you worry about that now!
Oh no, I believe you. I believe you. You're loud. I hear you. I want those people in there to hear us. I want their corporate lobbyists that are willing to show up today in the middle of this pandemic to give AOC and the squad a big high five when they go vote for Pelosi. I want them to hear us too. I want all of them to hear us today. Yesterday was a special day. We had a good chunk of people out here, and then Twitter erupted. They said, "Oh my God, there's only a few dozen people here. What the hell is going on?" I don't know. What is going on? We have a crisis in this country, and you seem to be the only people who care about this, that are willing to stand up, to put your bodies on the line in the middle of this pandemic to fight for people who can't be here. So thank you for being here.
What's going on is more people are here today.
Exactly.
So it's growing.
It's
That's
building.
what's going
it's
on.
building. But here's the thing that's most important. Whether it's Jimmy Dore or whether it's Convo Couch or Nico or whoever that's talking about forcing the vote, I don't give a fuck about someone's tone. I don't care about whether someone's yelling. I don't care about whether someone's angry, because we are angry. We're here today because we're pissed off.
Should be more people angry.
Exactly.
Should be more people angry.
And there are more people angry, and we're hearing from them. But today's the day. I want you to be loud when we're marching. There's a few different chants. If you were here yesterday, you probably know them. But we're going to get going. We're going to do the march, like I said. We're going to be back here. We're going to have some amazing speakers come up here and talk. So, and yeah, if you want to take some bread for the road, get
It's good bread.
Snack here,
Good bread.
some homemade bread.
Keep bread of care for all.
Get that bread. All right. Let's make it happen. If you want to stay here, if you don't want to march, we are going to be back here. So if you feel like you want to stay here, that's cool too. So without further ado, let's get it going. All right. First one is just force the vote. All right. All right, everybody, force the vote. 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 Medicare for all! First the vote!
Medicare for all!
First the vote!
Medicare for all!
First the vote!
Medicare for all!
First the vote!
Medicare for all!
First the vote!
Medicare for all!
First the vote!
On Medicare for all!
First the vote!
On Medicare for all!
First the vote!
On Medicare for all!
Everybody in, nobody out. That's what healthcare's all about. Everybody in,
Nobody out!
that's what healthcare's all about. Everybody in,
Nobody out!
that's what healthcare's all about. Everybody in,
Nobody out!
that's what healthcare's all about. Everybody in, that's what healthcare's all about. Everybody in,
Nobody out!
that's what healthcare's all about. What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
And when do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
we're in the middle of a pandemic. If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
what do we want?
Medicare for all!
And when do we want it? What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it? If we don't get it, I said if we don't get it, we don't get it. All right, everybody. I really think we can be louder. You guys sound beautiful, but I think we can be even louder.
Turn the volume a bit.
This next one, I want you to be even louder. Okay?
Medicare for all. 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 Everybody in.
Nobody out! That's what healthcare's all about! Everybody in!
Nobody out.
That's what healthcare's all about! Everybody in!
Nobody out.
Healthcare's all about! Force the vote on Medicare for all! Force the vote on Medicare for all! Force the vote on Medicare for all! Force the vote on Medicare for all!
Force the vote.
On Medicare for all!
Force the vote.
On Medicare for all!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it? What do we want?
Medicare for all!
And when do we want it? What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it? And if we don't get it? Said if we don't get it? If we don't get it? What do we want?
Medicare for all!
And when do we want it? What do we want?
Medicare for all!
And when do we want it? And if we don't get it? I said if we don't get it? If we don't get it? First the vote!
On Medicare for all!
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 First the vote!
On Medicare for all! On Medicare for all! On Medicare for all! On Medicare for all! Nobody out! That's what
Keep it going.
Hey everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. We're live in Washington, D.C. We just met again in spirit of Justice Park for the Force the Vote protest. We are now marching to the Capitol. If you could please share this live stream, that would be great. If you haven't yet signed the Force the Vote petition, or if you want to learn more about what we're doing here, you can go to forcethevote.org.
Shut it down!
Let's go to the guy with the big.
Shut it down! Medicare for all! Now! Medicare for all!
What do we want?
He's in charge.
What do we want? What do we want it? Don't drop the ball on Medicare for all! Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
Said if we don't get it!
Shut it down!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
We don't get it!
Shut it down!
We don't get it!
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Medicare for all! Don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. What do we want?
Put your hand up. Come on, come on. Just one time. Just one time. Put your hands up. Just one time. If it's for first smoke, put your hand up. Put your hand up. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, go. Put your hand up. Let's go. Come on now. Shut it down. Shut it down.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Said if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Don't drop the ball.
I'm Medicare for all.
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 What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Medicare for all.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball.
Those ones you can put in a satchel bag.
When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? If we don't get it, if we don't get it, said if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, when do we want it? When do we want it? families. And these people are profiting on the back end. They're getting tens of thousands of dollars in donations from the healthcare industry, from the major companies that are robbing us of innocent lives in the middle of this pandemic. 330,000 Americans have already died. Many more are going to die. 15 million Americans have lost their health insurance. This is the time to fight, people. There is no better time. For the naysayers who say now is not the time, don't listen. Don't listen.
Time's now!
Time. Fuck that. What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
we don't get it.
Shut it down!
All right. Where's Nico? Where's Nico? Nico here?
I think he went to the bathroom.
He's right here. He's right here. Nico, you want to say a few words? Yeah. All right. Give Nico a big round of applause, everybody.
Nico House! Mikasa Sukasa! You already know what it is!
Are we good?
My bad. Wrong tryout. This is a rap concert. One more time real quick. What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Medicare for all!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you very much. I have a couple of questions for you all before we get started. When's the last time Congress missed a paycheck?
Never. Never. The next time's the first time.
You got health care yet?
Nope.
That's crazy. When's the last time Congress missed a raise?
Never. Ever.
Y'all got health care yet?
No.
That's crazy. Does Congress still have health care?
Yes, they do.
You got health care yet?
No.
Who does Congress represent?
What a surprise.
How they representing you, but they got health care and you don't?
What's the problem?
Anybody want to explain it? Nope. Hey guys! How are you going to deny people health care while you enjoy health care with our tax dollars? Now, I am a person who's worked in the health insurance industry, and I've also been a person who's benefited from TRICARE, which is military health care, in case you don't know. The freedom and control that I have over my life, I owe everything to the ability to walk into a doctor's office, not have to argue with the lady making the appointment, and go to the back. I get seen for whatever I want. I walk out, I grab my medicine, and I don't pay anything. It's probably the best privilege that I have. And every day I grab my medicine, I look at my wife, and I literally say, I don't even know what we would do if we couldn't do this. I know that there are people who actually make pretty good money, but spend $25,000 a year on healthcare that they don't even use. Who here still has managed to keep their health insurance?
Nope.
Have you used it since the pandemic has started? Or anything to do with COVID? Because your health insurance won't pay for it.
Exactly.
So even before this pandemic, I know that people have been saying there have been 15 to 17 million Americans who have lost their health insurance. I would like to amend that statement, everybody. 15 to 17 million Americans have lost their health insurance, but it was trash health insurance to begin with, and we needed Medicare for all
Before this pandemic.
5, 6, 7, 50 years ago.
Way before this.
Right? Yeah, we agree, right? Yes, 15 million Americans lost health insurance, but they couldn't even use the health insurance to begin with. Once again, Congress does not have that issue. All of our seasoned and experienced Congress members who caught COVID, all of them survived, despite us knowing that is supposed to be the most vulnerable demographic. Why do you think that is?
Because they've got good health care.
Say it again.
They've got government health care and it's paid for.
Because they got what?
Government health care.
That's crazy. They got what?
Government health care.
Okay. Do you got health care yet, though? No. Who here has had a family member die of COVID? You got 2 in the back, 2 up front. Has anybody been in the unfortunate circumstance where someone has died because they couldn't get health care because our healthcare system is crippled because of COVID?
Well, not because of COVID, but it's crippled anyway, right?
My grandmother almost lost her foot to diabetes because she couldn't get her appointment in time. She's been very fortunate enough to not have COVID, but almost lost her ability to walk. Because once again, our healthcare system was broken during COVID, it was broken long before COVID, and when the next COVID comes around, it will get worse. It's not going to get better. So for every detractor, for everyone who keeps calling us divisive, saying that this isn't the right time, who hasn't, by the way, presented an argument. I just have one question for you. If not now, then when? We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a pandemic where in the most recent appropriations bill that they tried to sell to us as COVID relief, there's a military appropriations bill. Yeah. They gave $32 billion for vaccine distribution because they said there's obviously a sense of urgency with COVID. So you have $32 billion to give once again to the pharmaceutical industry, but you don't have money to spend on Americans in the middle of the pandemic? So if not now, then when? Because the money we have, right? We all agree. Okay.
It's our money.
We got it is definitely our money. Okay, so we got the money. We just found that out. Last I checked, over 90% of all Democrats support Medicare for all, and there was a Fox News poll that says 70% of their viewers support Medicare for all. That sounds like leverage to you all, right? Yeah. So if not now, then when? Okay. And there's this thing called the principle. I know a lot of guys, like we argue with our wives and girlfriends, it's all about the principle. I'm a big principle person. It's all about the principle. And I listen to the Democrats who have the ability to take Medicare for all to the floor right now for a vote, tell me for months that I know we don't have the votes to impeach the president, but we have to do it anyway because it's the principle. Well, do you all agree that on principle, we should be taking Medicare for all to a floor vote? Yes. So if the principle mattered when it was time to impeach, shouldn't it matter when it's time to give everybody health care? Yes. So if not now, when? Because that's why, like, so is it after somebody's grandmother dies of COVID? Is it after my grandmother loses her foot to diabetes? Is it after another cancer patient gets diagnosed too late because of the crippling infrastructure of our medical system? When? Is it next week? Is it the next pandemic? When is it? If you're going to tell us that we're the ones in the wrong, that it's not the right time, we have how many co-sponsors? We have over 90 people in the Progressive Caucus. 70% of Fox News viewers, say they want Medicare for all. We have the leverage, we have the money, we have the organizing, we have the co-sponsors. What we don't have, seemingly, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, is the courage of their convictions. Supposed convictions.
Their promises, so will they follow through?
With that being said, I'm going to have Jackson come back up. But before we do that, what do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? One more time. What do we want? And when do we want it? Because if not now, when? All right, everybody, so we were just greeted by some very, 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 very kind Capitol Police who also have health care thanks to their union. Just like these fuckers up here in the Longwood building.
So strange.
Wonderful union.
Now, since they have their health care, I want you to tell them what it feels like to not have health care yourself. So what do you want?
Medicare for all.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Medicare for all.
When do you want it?
Now.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
apart. Don't drop the ball!
Medicare for all! Don't drop the ball on Medicare for all! Don't drop the ball on Medicare for all! Don't drop the ball on Medicare for all!
No, that vote better go right. That's what I'm saying. That vote better go right. I'm coming back to my
Medicare for all! Medicare for all!
Medicare for all!
So we were here at the Longworth House Office Building. If you heard about yesterday or watched yesterday, you might have seen that we tried to speak over there in the Cannon House Office Building, and we're also threatened with arrest over there and moved back to the park. So basically the same thing just happened again. You can see more Capitol Police have arrived.
All right, so
First of all, thank you for being here and thank you for showing up in spite of the rude comments from detractors posting pictures of Bernie Sanders' rally in Brooklyn. That took 5 years because when Bernie Sanders first started, he had a couple dozen people show up to his rallies. Nobody knew who he was. And the movement brought him to be the most popular senator. Okay? And now we've gone beyond it because I think we're turning into this pivotal point where we've realized that we can't vote our way out of this. We can't vote out fascism. We can't vote out the fact that we do not live in a democracy. We have an oligarchy. In the last few days, you've seen how Democrats and Republicans in the establishment have come together not only to deny you health care, but to deny you a stimulus that is at the very minimum what they should have done, but it's not even enough. $2,000 isn't enough after 10 months. It's not enough. What are you going to do with $600? Does that cover a third of your rent?
it's gone.
It's gone. It's already gone.
Most
So-
developed nations have health care and have
Exactly.
$2,000 checks.
Exactly. We are the only major nation in this country, in the world, that doesn't have health care. That has so much wealth accumulated, but has no health care. So we've hit this turning point where we're seeing divisiveness. We're seeing talks about Jimmy Dore being divisive, you being divisive, not going with our allies, not supporting our allies. But if those people that we elected, that ran on Medicare for All, are not pushing Medicare for All, then why the fuck are they there for? If they're not going to stand up to Nancy Pelosi, who is the gatekeeper, who literally has to bring Medicare for All to a floor vote, even with PAYGO gone, she would still have to bring it to a floor vote. So don't give me the fucking excuses that it's okay now just because we got rid of PAYGO. Don't give me the excuses that we have to wait for the right moment. Because as Nico said, we're in the middle of a goddamn pandemic. Do you remember during the Great Depression, the reason people got out is because of the New Deal? We don't even have anything. We got nothing. And our leaders sold us out with the CARES Act. Every single one of them sold us out. It was the largest transfer of wealth. The largest transfer of wealth. I have lived as a millennial through 2 large transfers of wealth. I have seen wages gone down. I have seen many of you lose people you love to just diseases, to poverty. I live in Los Angeles, California, where I see homelessness has become a way of life. You can be homeless and have a full-time job. You can be homeless and have a computer. This is not the way to be in America. The fact that more people aren't out here is an insult. We need to make these people uncomfortable. You know what's beautiful? Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell getting attacked their house is getting attacked, right, with graffiti by Republicans. Mitch McConnell was vandalized by Republicans. We are seeing people move beyond the fact that there's a two-party system, because there's not. We are seeing people realize we're all getting fucked by the system, whether you're a Republican, an independent, a leftist, we're all getting screwed. So what I love seeing is right now, the people that are suffering, who may not have ever been political, the people whose restaurants and businesses are being shut down when they're getting nothing, while these corporations get all this money, those people are saying, what the hell? I'm getting screwed. And they're realizing this. And guess what? You're not alone. More people realize this, but they need leaders to step up, like all of you, coming out here and showing them that this is absolutely 100% possible. We need to move from electoralism to direct action. Because a lot of people like to say, what? You're not organizing. This is just a social media thing. Force a vote, blah, blah, blah. This is organizing right here. This is regular people coming together and speaking truth to power for a cause they believe in. Boots on the ground, yelling at politicians, yelling at these elitist, privileged fucks who literally have health care, and they're treating you like you're a nuisance. And if you have a problem with my language, you can get the fuck out of here, because look at the people dying. The violence in the street. If you don't have a problem with that and you have a problem with this, you're the fucking problem. Okay? So enough with the civility. Civility is the tool of the oppressor in times of injustice. And we can't allow these people to detract us from what we have to do. And right now, also, I have to point out that force of vote is so important, that we need people out there, we need more of us. But we have to collaborate with other people who are out here supporting, also in solidarity with Julian Assange. We didn't have WikiLeaks this year to tell us how corrupt these Democrats were, because Julian Assange is in Belmarsh prison, and he's rotting for telling the truth about our imperialist government. And we need more people to speak out on that, because if he goes down, I go down.
Hell yeah!
If he goes down, we all go down.
What? Hell yeah! Done at that point. Yeah!
It's over. Exactly. And how are people going to know we're out here? How are people going to know about Medicare for all, about force of vote, about imperialism, if we don't have journalists telling them the truth? Because all of our media is bought. Do you see CNN here? Do you see MSNBC? Do you see TYT? Do you see these corporations out here? They're not out here. They don't give a crap, because they have it good. And it's not enough to go and smear somebody just because they're a jag-off comedian from their garage and intellectualize it and say, oh, you're not fit to lead this movement. Guess what? I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you don't have a job. You are valued, and it's your job to lead this movement. Every single one of you are leaders, okay? So don't let that classist bullshit from people who've never had to suffer come over here. My mother had breast cancer, and if my mother didn't find a way to get health insurance, she would have not been able to make it, because her medicine is $12,000 per syringe.
God damn!
And when she gave them their insurance, it was $14.
That's a crime.
It is a crime, because some people don't have health insurance and their parents die, their siblings die, and they can't do anything about it. And you know what? We've come to this point where it's not enough to simply just talk about it and say we're going to push this committee and we're going to push this envelope. No, we have to put our bodies on the levers of power and take over.
You're goddamn right.
That's absolutely what we have to do.
You're goddamn right.
Just so you know, all of these things are connected. Whether it's Julian Assange, Medicare for all, not getting a $2,000 stimulus, we should be protesting for all of these things.
All
of them. The fact that Biden, who was the number 5 candidate, and Kamala Harris, who couldn't even win her own state, are now supposed to take over the presidency. You think Bernie Sanders wasn't cheated? You think that our elections are real? Our elections are not real. We don't have democracy in this country. We need to accept that. We need to move past it. We need to understand that we live in an oligarchy, and you cannot simply expect to reform a party that doesn't want you, that has stolen from you and has ransacked everything you have gotten. This is your money. You are entitled to this simply expect them to give it to you because they won't. So stop thinking in reform and start thinking in terms of actual revolution, direct actions in the streets. So I want to thank you all for being here. You're all my heroes. Thank you so much.
Damn.
I need that fire.
Another
I
fire.
need that heat.
Damn. All right. Thank you for being here, for speaking with us. That was an inspiring message. Next, I'd like to invite up DJ Joe Nice. But first of all, have any of you ever heard of Libby, Montana?
Yes.
One?
I've heard of the second word.
All right. Well, you're about to hear about it. Okay.
Oh shit.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Nice. I've traveled around the world. I've sold a few records, played a few shows, been to 48 countries. And whenever I talk about politics and people talk about the United States, I always mention, yeah, you know what? We have health insurance and we have food deserts. And my friends overseas are like, what are those? Health insurance? What? You have to pay for health insurance? You have food deserts? You have places where people don't have access to fresh fruit, fresh vegetables? Really? That's something? So, again, America, we're a third world country with first world problems.
Yes, yes.
That's where we are right now. And I know, Jackson, thank you for inviting me up to speak a little bit, because there's precedent for Medicare for all. And some of you might have been familiar with Libby, Montana. It's the largest town in a county called Lincoln, Montana, Lincoln County, Montana. And there was a mine, a vermiculite mine, that poisoned all of the residents of that entire county. Every one of them. It happened back in 2009, July 2009. And everybody in that county got Medicare for all. They got Medicare Part B and Medicare Part A. And they also got prescription coverage, which is covered under Medicare Part D. There's precedent for this. And it was basically based upon what's called an emergency declaration. So the EPA said, hey, you know what? There's an emergency. There's an emergency. And because there's an emergency, because of a public health threat, you all get Medicare for all. I would like to think that an airborne virus like the coronavirus is a safety, public health. I'd like to think that's an issue. I'd like to think that our country could go ahead and give us Medicare for all, not only based upon it being a human right, but because there's governmental precedent for it. It's covered in Section 1881 Alpha of the Social Security Act. Please take a look into that, because we need Medicare for all. In addition, our politicians, we also need to be fighting for all of this other stuff here. All right, we need to be fighting for COVID-19 relief, universal basic income. We need that. Our government needs to give us that, because $2,000 is insufficient. Some is $600. That's even less than sufficient.
It's been like $4 a day.
Right? You can't do anything with $4 a day. You can't travel around DC on $4 a day.
What?
You can't. We need Medicare for all. We need hazard pay for frontline workers. There's a whole lot of frontline workers that have been working and risking their lives to make our lives better and safe. And they're not getting the pay that they deserve. We need rent, eviction, and parking moratoriums. Cancel it all. Shut it down. Cancel it all. Because how are people going to be paying their rent when they haven't been able to work for all this time? And we need to expand SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, for everybody, including the unemployed and underemployed. We need to do something better, and the people in these buildings need to work for us. We need to not work for the politicians. We need to not work for corporate interests. Student loan cancellation. We need that immediately. Joe Biden, when he gets into office in about 3 weeks, can wipe away $1.8 trillion of student loan debt with a couple of pension funds. Now, if we can go ahead and find $4.7 trillion to give to the richest corporations, the richest 1,000 people in the United States, the federal government can go ahead and eliminate student loan debt. We need nationwide marijuana legalization across the board. Reschedule it to a Schedule A drug. Reschedule it to a Schedule A drug. We need a demilitarized Green New Deal. It's going to create jobs through a federal job program. It's going to give us jobs, and it'll also help pay for all of the rent that we have to pay for, and help pay our bills. And we need to stop
and the environmental destruction.
Exactly, because there's an ecocide that's taking place right now. And get rid of ICE. Get rid of ICE. Stop locking people up indiscriminately. Stop locking up people indiscriminately.
No more cool sounding police agencies like ICE.
None of that. None of that.
You shouldn't be cool and be a cop. It's not cool.
Exactly right.
What in the world is that?
I want to thank everybody that came out here today. I want to thank obviously Jackson for organizing this. Congo Cap is out here. Miko House is out here. Status Quo is out. I want to thank everybody that came out here, because look, we all are heroes. We all need to stand up and fight back. We need to stand up for what we believe in, and we need to take back our rights. We need to take back our country, because it's ours. We are the people. We the people. We are the people of this country. It's us. And we need to continue to fight for what we stand up for, what we believe in. Thanks.
Yeah.
I would now like to invite up David Winston, who is a DC local, if I'm correct. Yeah, so he's going to say a few words, and then we're going to have Craig Pasta Jardula come up and speak. So,
Oh, yeah!
Here we go.
Oh, yeah! What?
How's it going, everybody?
You're fucking great! Every fucking day!
Listen, so my name is David Winston. I'm the co-chair of the Metro DC DSA's Medicare for All Working Group.
Do it!
And yeah, I'm here today with all y'all because our lack of healthcare in this country affects each and every one of us in so many ways, every single day. And, you know, I'm pretty privileged to have only had some sacrifices because of the lack of healthcare. But even that shows how much it affects every single one of us in so many different ways. So a few years ago, I used to travel abroad for work, and I contracted this really rare disease called Q fever. It was very unheard of in this country. Not a lot of people had it. And I didn't know what was happening to me. And I, within a couple days, got 104, 105 fever, and I was hospitalized. And they found out that I had this rare disease, and they said, okay, well, you got this disease when you're abroad. You need to see a specialist who deals in these rare diseases to take care of that. And I said, okay, that's great. At the time, I only had Medicaid. Currently, I don't have any insurance, but thankfully, I lived in California, which has slightly better laws than Virginia as far as healthcare. And so then I set up the appointment with the specialist. And I tried to go see the specialist, and they said, "Oh, we don't cover Medicare or Medicaid. You can't see us." So I was thinking, okay, well, I have this really rare disease that could be extremely infectious. What do I do? And their response was, "Well, you have to find somebody who's in network." And I looked for weeks to find somebody who was in network, and the only person I could find, their next availability was 2 months from then. So I told the person on the phone, I said, in 2 months, either I'll be better or I'll be dead. And their response was, well, that's all we can do.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
So, and you know, like I said, I'm relatively healthy. I can survive without healthcare, but you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you know, and this hits close to home as well, because a few years ago, my father was contracted with laryngeal cancer, cancer of the larynx. And he had healthcare. And even with that, he had to have surgery, and he had to have his vocal cords removed. And now he has a hole in his neck that he'll have for the rest of his life. And with his insurance and his secondary insurance and all of that, it doesn't cover any of the care required, the long-term care for his vocal cords. He has to get these cassettes that he speaks through out of his throat. They cost $150 a month just for the cassettes. Little piece of plastic, probably costs $2 to make. He has to pay for all these cleaning equipment to clean out his neck every day. He has to pay for a $2,000 electrolarynx so that he can speak through that. None of it was covered by his insurance.
Boo! Boo!
And you know, my sister and I, we tried to help him out, and we had to sacrifice. I had to take on extra jobs. I had to sell blood plasma just to get by, just to help my dad. My sister had to take off work for months. She had to struggle. Her husband had to take on extra jobs. And just the ripple effects of the problems in our healthcare system in this country are immeasurable. And I'm sure so many of you have a similar story or worse. And it's unconscionable that our elected representatives are not standing up for us in this moment.
I'm coming.
It only takes a few progressive Congress members to take a stand right now and say enough is enough. We need Medicare for all right now. This suffering cannot be allowed to continue. And they have the chance to do that. They have the votes to do that. And right now they're silent, while so many of us suffer and so many of us struggle. So that's why I'm here with all y'all. That's why I'm organizing as much as I can. And this makes a difference. This makes a difference. We started a Force the Vote Slack channel about less than 2 weeks ago. We already have 1,300 people on it fighting for healthcare around the country.
You're just getting started.
We've been making hundreds of calls. We've been going to rallies like this. We've been contacting our Congress members, and we're telling them, now is the chance to put up or shut up. You said that you believe in Medicare for all, you believe in health care. Here's the time to prove it. So thank you all for coming out. Force the vote.
Thank you, David. Another big round of applause for David. Thank you for sharing your story. That's why we're all here fighting. That's why we're trying to make a difference today. I'd like to invite up Craig Costa-Jardula to say a few words from the Convo couch.
Pass the party.
Let's get it.
That's fucking name right there. What up? Hell yeah.
Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
Say force the vote.
Force the vote.
You know, this is more than just a vote on the floor for me right here. Okay? This is about all those workers out there whose health care is tied to their jobs. And now they lost their health care. And they're out in the cold.
Oh, hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
This is more than just a vote on the floor for me right here. This is about all those people out there, our veterans who are suffering with mental illness and they can't get the help they need because we don't have Medicare for all. Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
This is more than just a vote on the floor for me here.
Goddamn right.
This is for all those parents out there who have to ration their child's insulin and make a decision because they can't put food on the table or they can't pay the rent.
Oh, hell no.
And they got to play Russian roulette with their child's lives because we don't have Medicare for all.
What?
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
This is for all those homeless people out there.
Yeah.
Who are suffering, who had a mental illness, or had an illness that they couldn't pay for, and their Medicare, without Medicare for all, it bankrupted them.
That's my people.
And now they're on the streets, 700,000 of them. Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
You know, I had COVID.
Damn.
I went to urgent care, and they wouldn't give me a test.
What?
They said it's because I didn't have insurance.
Yo.
And all those people out there who don't have insurance can't get a test sometimes unless they wait in line in another facility and wait for it. Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Are we going to turn our backs on them?
Hell no.
Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
More importantly, more than anything, what this means to me, this force the vote, and what Jackson's put together with all these people, and Jimmy Dore, is that now it's time for our representatives to do what we put them there to do.
Right.
Every single one of the squad members, AOC, every one of those progressives, they ran on Medicare for all. We put them there to do this, and it's time that we hold them accountable. Let me hear you say force the vote.
Force the vote.
Say force the vote.
Force the vote.
I just want to say thank you all for coming. You guys are amazing. Thank you for Jackson for putting this together. Free Assange. We'll see you out there, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. All right, everybody. I don't know if some of you saw, but just the other day, AOC, she tweeted something out. She said, we got a rules change. We negotiated a rules change. What good is a rules change if you're not going to take a vote?
Amen.
This is why we're here. We're here to force the vote. It doesn't matter if you get a rules change to exempt Medicare for all, Green New Deal, whatever, from pay-go. Okay? It doesn't matter unless you're willing to stand up to power, do what all of you are doing here today, and take a vote. We saw Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush go out on CNN. They had the spine to go out on national media in front of millions of people and say that, we're not sure about this. We're not sure about just giving Pelosi our support when we could negotiate our power. We could band together and do something. Now, are they gonna force the vote? Are they gonna withhold their support from Pelosi? Probably not, because no one else is willing to stand up with them. Not AOC, not Mark Pocan, not Ilhan Omar, not Ayanna Pressley, not Rashida Tlaib, not any of them. Not any of them. Not Raul Grijalva, not one of them. Okay? David helped us make hundreds of phone calls to congresspeople all across the nation. Right? We had a group of organizers Brianna Joy Gray, you were there. We had an incredible group making personal phone calls to all of these Congress people. Some of us got even through to them. Some of us got through, and they said they were going to pass on the message to their Congress people that they heard us. Clearly, they don't hear us yet. Clearly, they don't hear us yet. Clearly, they don't hear the cries, the pain, the suffering, the loss of life from millions of Americans every single year in this country, or else they would force the vote. This is a crisis that we're living through right now, and that's why we're all here today. So I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up, for standing up for people who can't be here, who can't afford a plane ticket, can't afford the trip, may have pre-existing health conditions, may not have health care and want to risk getting COVID in the middle of a pandemic. I want to thank all of you for being here. We are going to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. regardless of what the fuck happens today, okay? I think we all know what's going to happen today.
And we'll be with you!
I think we know what's going to happen today. But, yesterday I had someone ask me, what's the idea behind holding a protest the day after they take the vote? The idea behind that is we're not going to give up. We don't go away when they dismiss us. We're not like AOC or Ilhan or any of them. We don't just give up. We keep the pressure going. We keep holding them accountable. And they better know that we're going to be there every single day, every single step of the way. We're going to be back here next year when that progressive caucus expands to an even larger margin. And they're still going to be telling us that we don't have the numbers. You guys are crazy. We don't have the numbers. I understand you guys helped us get 3 times as many progressive members in 2022, but we don't have the numbers. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. So I hope some of you, or all of you at least, will be here tomorrow morning if you can, 9 a.m., same spot. The weather's going to be a bit nicer. We're going to be doing that same march, making sure that they all hear us. And I also would request that if you believe in press freedom, if you believe in freedom of speech, if you believe in a man named Julian Assange and at least the work that he does, please join us at 12 noon today at the UK Embassy, which is right across from our lovely Vice President's home, mansion, if you will, and also tomorrow, after we meet here tomorrow, protest here tomorrow, we're going to be at the Department of Justice at noon to advocate for Julian Assange tomorrow and the atrocity that is happening to him. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Can I get one more force the vote? Force the vote!
Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote! Force the vote!
All right, everybody, thank you for being here. Big round of applause for everyone who came. We'll see you all tomorrow.
120 days. When are we going to put Assange on the platform? Force the vote. I'm trying to force the vote for Assange. It's the people's choice, not your choice. It's the people's choice. Why are you blocking this deal? Because I actually will push harder than other people. You gotta be kidding me, bro.
Thanks again, everyone, for watching today. This is the second of 3 days of the Force the Vote actions in Washington, D.C. So if you're in the area, as you just heard, we're going to be out here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Spirit of Justice Park. Regardless of what happens with the vote today, today's crowd is bigger than yesterday's was, so maybe tomorrow's crowd will be even bigger. If you have not signed the petition yet, if you haven't shared the petition yet, please go to forcethevote.org. You can also learn a little bit more, and you can find our live stream from yesterday along with some photos of yesterday's action. Photos and the live stream from today will be up on the website there as well. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you do your part to force the vote, and please share this live stream if you have not already.